I'm your host for today's session, Alexandra Huff, Director of Java Marketing at Oracle. We're pleased to announce a special guest speaker in today's session, Arnal Dayaratna, IDC Research Director, who specializes in software development trends, and he'll be speaking with Manish Gupta, VP of Java and GraalVM Global Marketing at Oracle. Today, they'll share their views on Java SE in the enterprise, and will present some interesting statistics on innovation and open source. So just a short pause for the essential safe harbor statement. And now I'd like to turn the session over to you, Manish.
Thank you, Alexandra. Today we'll be sharing two big categories of information between Arnold and myself. The first one will be about the Java developers ecosystem, the innovation of the platform, and how the various frameworks and toolings are supporting the platform on a regular basis. And the second category will be around the release cadence, the contributions, the Java SE subscription, and the value that's being delivered to the enterprises around the world, and the engagement of the community over the last 25 years. So with that, let's pass it on to Arnold.
Thanks, Manish. This slide illustrates the popularity of Java amongst developers worldwide. According to IDC's PASView and the Developer, a worldwide survey of 2,500 developers, close to 70% of all developers use Java. As shown in the chart, Java is more widely used than C and C++, JavaScript, C#, Python, PHP, and a multitude of other languages. In fact, all other languages. And the popularity of Java illustrates four things. One, its relevance to a multitude of use cases. Two, the richness of its developer community. Three, an enduring history of innovation that spans 25 years. And four, the ability to support a multitude of infrastructures, devices, and deployment platforms. Few languages have demonstrated the versatility and extensibility of Java, all the way from its initial use for embedded devices and web development to subsequent use cases in data science, AI/ML, IoT, and back-end mission-critical applications more generally. Next slide, please. Java is widely used all over the world, and specifically in the three geographies of the Americas, EMEA, and APJ. The key takeaway from this slide is that Java is most widely used in the Americas and EMEA, followed by the Asia Pacific and Japan. For example, more than 70% of developers in the Americas and EMEA reported heavy to moderate usage of Java, whereas correspondingly, 61% of developers in the APJ region reported the same. Astoundingly, 77% of developers in the Americas reported heavy to moderate usage of Java, a figure which is largely driven by heavy Java usage in the United States and Canada. The point here is that Java usage has made its way all over the world, and significantly at that. Next slide, please. Java usage spans organizations of a multitude of sizes, as measured both by revenue, as seen on the left, and number of employees, as seen in the chart on the right. The key takeaway here is that regardless of the size of the organization, heavy and moderate Java usage was reported by at least 65% of developers. Basically, this means that 2/3 of developers in every organization use Java to a significant degree. Notably, the use of Java is by no means concentrated amongst large enterprises, but instead permeates a wide range of organizations, inclusive of startups, small to medium-sized businesses, small enterprises, and large enterprises as well. Next slide, please. Not only is Java used by a wide range of geographies and organizations, but it is also used by a large variety of developer personas as shown here. For me, this is an absolutely remarkable slide because it shows how Java is widely used by web developers, embedded device developers, database developers, and mobile developers as one would expect, but also data analysts, software architects, front-end developers, back-end developers, gaming developers, full-stack developers, and a multitude of other developer personas. And so Java is widely used across the board by pretty much every developer persona imaginable. And this illustrates the versatility of Java and its continued relevance to a wide variety of use cases, technologies, and devices. Next slide. This slide illustrates how Oracle's time-based release cadence, which was announced in 2017, has accelerated the delivery of innovation so that Java developers enjoy the benefits of a predictable release cadence that delivers new features and functionality every 6 months. Turning to the far left of the chart, previously Java SE had a feature-based release cadence, and this meant that some releases, such as Java 9, for example, took over 3 years to complete subsequent to the previous release, in this case, Java 8. Currently, Java developers have access to a cluster of features and functionality every 6 months, and what's more, they typically receive a preview of forthcoming features and innovation. This preview quality empowers developers to provide feedback on releases and functionality, and subsequently deliver insight to contributors. Most importantly, however, the time-based release cadence gives developers more frequent access to new features and functionality, and subsequently stands to increase developer engagement and mindshare. Next slide, please. Following up on the topic of innovation, this slide illustrates how Java is widely used for application development spanning a multitude of emerging technologies that include artificial intelligence and machine learning, and cognitive computing, as well as IoT, but also emerging technologies such as blockchain, AR, VR, and wearables. Once again, the key point here is the illustration of Java's versatility and use by contemporary developers to support the development of new technologies. Next slide, please. This slide shows how Java is used by a multitude of industry verticals and organization types. The chart on the left, which is focused on industry verticals, features an aggregation of industry verticals, such as financial services, manufacturing, technology, construction, which you don't see here because it's aggregated into one of the 7 bars here, retail distribution, wholesale distribution, professional services, communications, media and entertainment, healthcare, and in the segment of public services, government and education. What's notable here is that roughly 70% of every industry vertical uses Java to a heavy or moderate degree. Meanwhile, the chart on the right shows strong usage of Java across organizations of different types, including enterprises with a dedicated IT department, ISVs, systems integrators, and value-added resellers. Next slide, please. Speaking of innovation in Java, This slide illustrates recent innovations derived from projects such as Valhalla and its reduction of memory and operational overhead, Loom and improvements with respect to concurrent programming, Panama and improvements for applications that read large amounts of data, and Amber, which focuses on improved functionality for textual analysis, such as pattern matching and text blocks. Next slide, please. GraalVM, initiated in Oracle Labs, is a project that optimizes Java performance and renders Java more suitable for cloud-native development. The GraalVM infrastructure delivers enhanced performance and operational efficiency to Java applications, as well as applications developed in other languages. Another important attribute of GraalVM is that it supports the execution of a multitude of languages on the JVM that are compiled to highly performant machine code, just like Java. IDC believes that GraalVM's ability to enable code to run faster and more efficiently, in addition to its ability to facilitate the development of polyglot applications, as we see here, represents an important innovation for Java. GraalVM enhances the efficiency with which applications are run and renders developers more productive as a result. Moreover, its ability to optimize applications for containers and microservices positions it to become more central to cloud-native development practices and methodologies. Next slide, please. According to a recent developer survey from IDC, 43% of code in contemporary applications is open source. This means that more than 2/5 of code in proprietary applications is open source, and the data point underscores the centrality of open source to innovation and application development more generally. Developers have embraced Java in open source projects as exemplified by Guava, Retrofit, Elasticsearch, and others. This deep adoption of Java by the open source community is illustrative of Java's relevance to innovation and ability to support a multitude of use cases, as we have discussed. The adoption of Java by the open source community bodes well for its future integration with production-grade applications and cutting-edge technologies. Thanks, and Manish, over to you.
Thanks, Arnal. So as you all may know, we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Java. The data set and the statistics that Arnal just shared with us really laid the foundation and the logic behind how Java has become the language of empowerment, with impact across almost every industry and applications ranging from space exploration to genomic discoveries and everything in between. This has become possible and viable primarily because Java and the ecosystem have been built on two strategic pillars. The first one is accessibility, making sure that the technology, the platform is available to everybody, free and open, as it has been for the past 25 years and continues to be. And second is ensuring that the innovation has a strategic perspective. This is not about fixing the problems of today, but really is about ensuring that what you invest in today will continue to work for many, many years, in some cases, decades. And that the innovation of the platform enable what you need today, but also prepare you for servicing the needs of tomorrow. Next slide, please. And when we look at where this innovation is coming from, there are a number of companies that participate, as we can see from JDK 11, 12, 13, and every subsequent releases that have occurred, at least for the last few years, at a 6-month cadence. Many companies, and we see increasing participation from a number of companies and individuals. But an important point to point out is Oracle, as a steward of the technology in the platform, is also the leading contributor of the technology itself. In most cases, servicing 80+% of all the contributions that come in any given release. Next slide. To ensure that the innovation is accessible and available, Oracle offers binaries as OpenJDK, or you can get the Oracle JDK under the commercial terms. And the two of them are very similar at the binary level, but you do get some advantages and benefits when you're able to go and take advantage of the commercial version of the Oracle JDK. It prepares you and gives you the support for the long-term releases as well. Next slide, please. And as Arnal just mentioned, the release cadence is now predictable. That is really powerful for the developers as well as the organizations where the developers work. So they know what to expect at a predictable time cadence that allows for planning. But most importantly, what we are noticing as the pace of innovation seems to have increased. Not only are the features getting released every 6 months, as opposed to having to wait for a large release that used to come every 2, 3 or more years in between releases, it has also become more manageable for organizations to digest these new capabilities. And hence we are seeing not just the platform with the release cadence, but also the ecosystem servicing these releases at the cadence of 6 months. And this has really helped. So today we just released on September 15th, Java 15th was released, and we expect the next release, which is Java 16, in March of 2021. Next slide, please. And to support the 6-month release cadence and to work in a model that's commensurate with today's SaaS environments and cloud-native environments, Oracle introduced a Java SE subscription. This was meant to be granular pay-as-you-go model. It was supposed to be very transparent pricing structure with the pricing published on the website as well as the discount structures published on the website. With this, you're able to get the license and the support to run your Java applications on desktops, servers, as well as cloud deployments. You have access to the best-in-class Oracle support, 24/7, 27 languages. You have access to the latest updates and fixes directly from Oracle, and you get some value-added features and capabilities like the Advanced Management Console. And if you're running your Java applications on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, the license and the support is included with your consumption of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure services. So you have the advantage of running your applications on OCI as well. For more details, you can see the link at the bottom that will give you the details on pricing, support structures, and other benefits you get. Next slide. And I wanted to peel the onion a little bit more on the advantages that an Oracle Java SE subscription customer gets. In addition to getting the commercial Oracle JDK license, you have access to the Oracle Global Support, which is best in class in the entire ecosystem, with the support members having at least 15 years of experience, working closely and in the same organization as the development team, which gives them direct access. The support is offered on a global basis, 24/7 in 27 languages. The updates are available directly from the authors of the platform for versions that have reached end of public update directly from Oracle. Every quarter, you have access to the critical patch updates, so you're always above the security baseline, and that applies to the versions that have reached end of public updates. You have access to value-added tools, such as the Advanced Management Console and incremental features over time that will continue to be enhanced. In some cases, you may have access to critical bug fixes in an accelerated manner. And finally, access to a program called the Java Success Program that comes with own set of perks and goodies. For example, depending on the customer tier and the program tier you participate in, you have access to things like Oracle University seats and certification for Java free of cost. Next slide, please. To share with you a little bit on the economic proposition and the benefits that are seen by our customers, we ran a survey and a model last year focused on large enterprises and have added to that a survey and a model for mid-sized enterprises, you can see on the right-hand side. Try to compare between the option to update every 6 months on your own versus working with Oracle's Java SE subscription, and to have the flexibility to move at the pace that is appropriate for your business. In both cases, we see roughly a 30% savings over a 4-year period, whether you're a large enterprise running 500 plus applications or a mid-sized enterprise running in the 200-ish Java applications. The economic proposition is very clear. It gives you the business flexibility and gives you the economic benefit when you work with the Java SE subscription from Oracle. Next slide. And I wanted to expand on the discussion to beyond technology and economics to the community. As Arnal has shared, we have millions of developers around the world that are benefiting and leveraging Java for their day-to-day activities. And that has been possible for the last 25 years because of the vibrant ecosystem that exists. This ecosystem includes contributors that work within the OpenJDK environment to continue to evolve the innovation in the platform within the auspices of the Java community process. It includes over 350 user groups spread around the world, servicing hundreds of thousands, millions of users that are leveraging the platform. And then there are certain things that Oracle is directly driving, such as educating the next generation of developers through Oracle Academy, offering Java certification programs through Oracle University. And in that context, Oracle University has just recently announced a free certification, or the first Explorer badge, what they're calling Java Explorer badge, which is an ability to take about 23 modules of training free of charge and get access after passing the test to an Explorer badge. So all developers are welcome to participate in reducing the barrier to entry for that. And you can see other programs listed. So not only is Oracle focused on ensuring that the platform continues the innovation and supports the growth and relevance of the Java platform for tomorrow, but also making sure that accessibility of anybody that's interested in the platform around the world has that, and that continues to be easy for them. And next slide, please. And so that's the end of our prepared remarks here.